I'm legally insane. And hidden behind these adult-sized diapers are 7 Sega CD games that I recently picked up. I'm going to tell you what I got, what I paid for each of these games, and why you might be interested in each of these, may or may not be interested in each of these games. Now, what's really important here is that I got these games for an absolute steal. This might be my last video. I just may be in prison by the time this gets uploaded. Because I got a steal of a deal. It's been a while since I've gotten a steal this good. And it feels good when you get a steal, guys. Everyone out there, every collector out there has gotten at least one crazy, amazing steal. I can guarantee every single collector has had this experience. And it's been a while because I don't check Facebook Marketplace as much as I used to anymore. In fact, I rarely ever check. And also, there's more competition out there anyway. But as you may or may not remember, I did get a Sega CD recently. I made a video about that. I'll put a link in the description below. It took me 31 years to get a Sega CD. I also spent 31 years killing people. Yeah. Went to prison for 6 years. Solitary confinement. And I still didn't have myself a Sega CD. But I finally got one. So I have right here 7 Sega CD games that I paid $17 for, plus $5 shipping, for a total of $22. Canadian dollars. At $22 for 7 games, that comes to $3.14 per game. I'm relatively new to the Sega CD world. I knew one kid growing up that had it, and the only game he ever showed me was Sewer Shark. I don't think he had very many games, and he probably regretted getting it, because the biggest flaw of the Sega CD, besides it being quite expensive, was that there were no good, really good games. There was a very select few games that actually had that high bar of quality to them. Okay, not every game could be Snatcher. Not every game was as good as Sonic CD, The Terminator, Lunar. You know, you had a very select few amount of games to select from. And back then, how would you have known that all the other games sucked? You wouldn't have known that. There's no internet back then. You just went to the store and you bought a game, and the odds were against you. Heavily against you. So let's find out what I got here, because I'm very passionate about the Sega CD. I'm just as passionate about the Sega CD as Macho Man Randy Savage was with his rap career.
Randy Savage is back. I'm back on the block with the products chain. But the passion I possess still remains the same. I switched the game, I'm on a different plane. The first wrestling MC will be my claim to fame.
Let's take a sip of this Battletoads G Fuel, which I'm almost run out, guys. I've almost run out. Where's my G Fuel? Where's that G Fuel go? Here it is. I've almost run out. I'm on the market for some aftermarket Battletoads G Fuel, guys. This stuff ain't cheap. I know it ain't cheap, because I have a second one that's sealed, and I ain't opening that one. I'm selling that one right there for $69,000. First game on the list, heavy hitter. And by the way, when I bought these games, I didn't even know what they were. Like I said, I'm brand new to the Sega CD. I just saw 7 Sega CD games and I bid. I bid $17 and I won. I asked the guy that was doing the auction if he could ship them for $5 by taking them out of the cases. I don't need the cases. So that's why it was $17 plus $5 shipping, $22 total. Okay, I was familiar with some of the games, and some of them I wasn't. I didn't know if they were good or not. And I just hit the freaking jackpot. I had no idea I hit the jackpot. I didn't know what this was until after I got it. This is Battle Corps. Let's take this out of the case. This is a core design group. This is made by the guys that made Tomb Raider. I paid $3.14 for this, and this price charts for $35.07 at the time of recording. $35 Canadian. So this right here more than pays for every single game that I got. And I didn't know that when I was bidding. I just kind of assumed that all of the games weren't going to be very good or worth very much. Now, this game is one of the better games on the console. It's a mech warrior style game. You are driving a mech. It's a primitive mech style game, but there's a ton of weapons that you can use. The graphics are absolutely incredible. It's 16-bit style graphics to the highest capability that it can do for a first-person shooter style, Doom style game. It's a Doom game, but you are a mech warrior or a giant mechanized robot. There are 3 different robot pilots that you choose from, all with different stats. Pretty basic. You got your balanced robot, you got your heavily armored but slow robot, and you got your fast robot. And you can switch between them, and each one of them also act as your lives. So when you die with a robot, you cannot use him again. That was 1 life gone. You got 2 robots left, and you got to keep going. And then when you continue, you get all 3 robots back. So it's 3 lives per continue. Great friggin' game. Very underrated. Some people would bash it a little bit and say, oh, well, it's not that good. Well, guys, it's a little bit primitive, but you got to understand the graphics for its time, incredible graphics, even to this day. They hold up strong today. And also, yeah, it's not going to beat MechWarrior for the OG Xbox. It's not going to beat Mech Assault, okay? I probably prefer this over Mech Assault, to be honest. So yeah, it does beat Mech Assault. It's a simpler design, much simpler everything. That's the way I like it. We got another steal of a deal here. I had never heard of this one previously. Mega Race. No spaces. $3.14. And it price charts for $24.15. Now this is a really interesting game. I mean, probably most reviews would tell you that this game really sucks. It's a very primitive racing game. It's basically an NES game, like a Road Blasters, put onto a Sega CD, updated graphics. It's so bad that I think it's actually good. And here's the thing, the one review that I did find on it, they made a really good comment. They said, you know what? When you put it in, you're instantly going to think that it kind of sucks. You can shoot weapons, but it's primitive in that you're just moving side to side. It's not like a real racing game. It doesn't feel like a 3D racing game. It feels like a old school Genesis, old school NES game where your car moves forward, but all you do is move side to side. You're not moving forward. The track is just coming forward, and you just move side to side. But there are weapons. There's different types of vehicles, same type of deal. Some have really good weaponry, or they might be really fast as well, but they don't have shields for defense, things like that. The AI is not the smartest, which I like. I like an easy game. So I played the first level, but what I heard is that you got to give it a chance. You got to play a couple of the levels, get a couple tracks deep, and then the game will grow on you. So I'm interested in checking that one out. I'm excited for that game. I like simplistic games. When I popped it in, I said, wow, this is really primitive. But it reminded me of a nice NES racer. Ooh, now we got, this is known for being really good, Cobra Command. This is an on-rail shooter, but it's actually one of the good ones. One of the better ones on the console. And this price charts for Cobra Command, price charts for $16.19. Not too bad. Again, I paid $3.14. Are you going to tell me that you would turn down all these games? $3.14, $16 game. $3.14, $24 game. $3.14, $35 game. Next up, we got Echo the Dolphin. I don't really care for this one. I mean, all it is Echo the Dolphin with upgraded sound and maybe more colors or something. Don't care much for this. I would rather play Echo the Dolphin on my Nintendo Switch with my Sega Genesis Classics Edition, because then I get the save states and the rewind feature for a really long and difficult game like this. It is on my bucket list to beat this game one day, but not the Sega CD version. I don't care for it. You know, if it was NHL 94, yeah, I'll take Sega CD version over Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis any day. But that's Echo the Dolphin. Echo the Dolphin sells for, or price starts for $15.04. This is all CD only prices, not CIB. CD only. So I can sell all the games that I don't want, like Echo the Dolphin. So next up we have a really interesting one. Brutal Paws of Fury. This is a fighting game that I never played back in the day. I think it's a Sega exclusive. This was not on the Super Nintendo. It was on the Sega Genesis and the Sega CD. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that I paid $3.14 and that it price charts for, holy hell, $20.34. Dang, man. I would have never thought. If anyone knows if this is good, let me know. I mean, frig, it's pretty expensive for what it is. It might be one of those so bad it's good fighters. I like Shaq Fu. Some people, they bash the hell out of Shaq Fu. It's one of the most bashed games in the world. But if you play it on 2-player, it's fun as hell. And you know what? And I'm not the only one that says that. I had a couple of friends that had the Sega Genesis version back in the day, and they never once thought it was a bad game. It was a very popular game. I'm not even kidding. It was a party game that he would bring all his friends over, and what do? You play Shaq Fu. I'm not even kidding. When you went over to my friend's house, that was the game. Just like, you know, an upgraded version of that would have been when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out, Sega Dreamcast. That was the party game. Well, at this guy's house, Shaq Fu was the party game. Yeah, it was. Some of us thought it was a good game. I never thought it was all that good, but I thought it was so bad it was good. Okay, next up we got Tomcat Alley. This game is not known for being good. This game's not worth much. Okay, what's this sell for? 10.78 Canadian. It's worth that for a reason. We're worth about $10 for a reason. Because it sucks. It's an FMV game. It's not even really a game. It's one of those movies that you play. So it doesn't really feel like an actual game. Whereas something like the FMV shooter games, on-rail shooter games, at least they feel like a game. This one feels more like a movie than a game. That's the problem with Tomcat Alley.
My dearest Maria, it's been a year now, and my heart breaks at the distance between us. I'm flying dangerous missions daily, and wonder if I will ever kiss your sweet lips again. There have been triumphs and setbacks.
I don't think you're ready to be up here.
P.S. Did I mention I'm up for the Medal of Honor?
Tomcat Alley, take control. All video F-14 combat.
You know, actually on that note, even with Mega Race, the racing aspect had such a low budget. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious with how primitive it is. It's a Nintendo, NES Nintendo game put onto a Sega CD. And clearly all of the money went to the FMV videos because there's tons and tons of FMV videos, which they thought back then that would be the future. And they were wrong. Oh yeah, they were very wrong because those games are not fun. They were gimmicky and interesting for a very short period of time. So let's say you got the Sega CD on launch day. Maybe you get that game hypothetically on launch day. It would probably blow your little kid mind for maybe a week. And then that's it. Then you would say, okay, I've seen all of the FMVs. It's not like they ever change. I've already seen them all. So all you have left is a crummy game. So last up we got FIFA International Soccer. Very interesting to see this on the list. Now, I don't know what the difference between this and the regular Sega Genesis version would be. I don't care for sports games unless it's NHL. For these old retro games, I only cared for the NHL games and a couple of baseball games and Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES. Ken Griffey Jr., Baseball 1 and 2, Winning Run number 2. Number 1 was way better though. RBI Baseball, Bases Loaded. That's it, man. NES games. Base Wars. Frig, that's a good game. Check that one out. Now, if this was NHL 94, NHL 94 is probably worth a pretty penny. I didn't look it up. But shockingly, this is actually worth $12.71. So, round down 10 bucks. Right? That's the thing about these price starting prices is they are not perfectly accurate. They give you a rough idea of what the game is worth. So, depending on the time of the sale, what else is available, how much competition is on the market, I might only get 10 bucks for a FIFA game. Maybe $9.50, 10 bucks. I'm just guesstimating, right? It says $12.71. But on the other hand, sometimes it might say $12.71, but I'll get $15, $16. I've sold games for over price starting value all the time as well. And sometimes they're inflated because it's just taking an average, and that average is sometimes skewed. All of these games added together total $134.28 in value according to price charting. I paid $22. How's that make you feel? And I don't say it to brag, I'm just telling you what I've bought. All of these episodes are what I've recently bought and what I paid for. It's not my problem I sometimes get a steal of a deal and the owners like to call the cops on me. It's not my problem you keep selling the games to me for $22. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. When I see an old lady on Facebook Marketplace selling her kids' Nintendo Wii and she has a whole bunch of rare games in there and sells the whole thing for $100, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I leave happy. You leave happy. And then many years later, when your kid grows up and realizes that you sold his Nintendo Wii and all of his rare games, then he gets pissed off. Well, that's a you problem. By that point, I've already sold all the games. Or I still have them on my shelf, and they're accumulating more value, and I'll sell them back to your son on eBay for double or triple what I paid. So guys, let's show you some quick... I would like to show you some quick gameplay on one of these games. I think Cobra Command would be an interesting one to show. OG Sega CD with an OG 3-button controller, except we're using the Hyperkin version today. Doesn't want to pick up the Hyperkin logo. This is Cobra Command. This is an on-rail shooter. Now, I've only briefly tried it, so it's not like I'm any good at it, but I did learn the basic mechanics of the game. And like most games back in the day, you do learn most of it through trial and error. So it can be difficult. First thing we do is we check if there's an easy mode. There is not. So in the place of easy mode, we jack up the players. Now speed, I don't know what this does. I think it just speeds up the entire gameplay. So if you know, once you get really good at it, you can, and you know where the enemies are going to jump out and whatnot, you could probably speed it up. Goes pretty fast, all the way up to 8. Oh, I see, you can even slow it down. Maybe it makes it easier. Oh yeah, maybe that's easy mode. I'm not sure. So you got 2 buttons. One is your standard machine gun. The other one is a missile. I have found that the machine gun sucks. So, maybe I'm not playing properly. But that was my findings. Like, I couldn't kill anything with it. So what I found that you have to do is you have to go trigger happy with the missiles. And there are quick time events. See, you just got to go trigger. See, quick time event, I have to go up. I'm guiding the helicopter, I'm driving the helicopter. I go trigger happy because they don't give you much time to kill these things. Oh, I remember this is tough. This is a friggin' tough spot. I remember that one. I died here a couple times. Oh, come on. See? I thought I was going to die. I had to do a quick time event there. I'm driving the helicopter. Oh, snap. Might have hit him with my machine gun. See? And the quick time, you don't have much time either. You got to drive that helicopter. Oh, man, are you kidding me? Okay, at least there's a checkpoint. Okay. I don't know how that other helicopter got me, because I was going trigger happy. This guy is a tough. Like, you just gotta shoot. You just keep shooting. That's... Ah. Well, even that doesn't work sometimes. I legitimately do not know what is killing me. Oh, it's a quick time event. I saw it. I saw it. You have to turn right. I totally missed that. Guys, this is one of the better Sega CD games on the market. So I don't know if that's sad or not, but I think it's a pretty good game. I think most Sega CD fans would agree this is a pretty decent game for what it is. And I think it's beatable. You could beat this game. It's just a matter of, you know, memorizing when those quick time events come up. See, I totally missed it. I didn't even notice it. It was flashing and whatnot, and it slipped my mind. But now that I've played it a couple times, I know, hey, you got to turn right. When you get to that part, turn right and turn right real fast. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I am trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers, on my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games.